The distinction between the criminal justice standard for proof beyond a reasonable doubt is different from the intelligence community standard of whether somebody was responsible for a particular act. And the standard of proof in a courtroom is not what is the requisite, item for whether some type of retaliatory strike is made. The issue was whether the information was made aware to both the law enforcement and intelligence community, and that clearly was the case. What the decision makers did with that information, which I think is the gist of your question, was something that was decided within the National Security Council, and
That's an important statement that we have not heard. So it is your position that the White House was told that Al-Qaeda done it, quite apart from
No.
evidentiary.
No, I didn't say that, Mr. Secretary. What I said was that, and what I'm trying to convey, is that the information that was available through the law enforcement community, in particular the FBI, as to the standard of proof and the items of proof that would be used in any charging, had already been outlined, as Pat mentioned, for the 98 embassy bombings. The intelligence community was aware of that information, as well as the information that had been obtained both overseas and domestically on the Cole bombing in terms of Nashiri's involvement, Khallad's involvement. That information was where. I don't know who specifically was briefed on what day. If that's your question, I don't have that information.
October 12, 2000, two al-Qaeda terrorists attacked USS Cole as a destroyer refueled in Yemen. In investigating the attack, the FBI developed information that Khallad bin Atash had been a principal planner of the bombing, and that two other participants in the Cole conspiracy had delivered money to Khallad in Malaysia at the time of the Malaysia meeting. The FBI shared this information with the CIA, whose analysts decided to conduct a review of what was known about the meeting. In January of 2001, CIA concluded, based on statements by a joint CIA-FBI human source, that Khallad appeared in one of the surveillance photos taken during the Malaysia meeting. The CIA recognized that Khallad's presence at the meeting was significant because it meant that the other attendees, including Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, had been in direct contact with the key planner of the Cole attack for bin Laden's network. The Director of Central Intelligence, George Tenet, described the import of this development to the joint inquiry, quote, "The Malaysian meeting took on greater significance in December 2000, when the investigation of the October 2000 USS Cole bombing linked some of Khalad al-Mihdhar's Malaysia connections with Cole bombing suspects. We further confirmed the suspected link between Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, and a person thought to be one of the chief planners of the Cole attack via a joint FBI-CIA human asset. This was the first time that CIA could definitively place Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Mihdhar with a known al-Qaeda operative," end quote. Although Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi had now been definitively placed with a known al-Qaeda operative, the CIA once again did not act to add them to the State Department's watch list. In January 2001, Khalid al-Mihdhar was abroad. His visa had expired, and he would have to clear a watch list check before obtaining a new visa to re-enter the United States. The Director of Central Intelligence testified that the information about Khallad resulted from a joint case the FBI and the CIA were conducting. The CTC chief at the time also testified that the CIA ran a joint operation with the FBI to determine if a Cole suspect was in a Kuala Lumpur surveillance photo. Quote, "Both agencies wanted to find out who killed our sailors. Both agencies were working to bring those terrorists to justice. We were in the business of providing information to the FBI, not withholding it," end quote. The day after the photo identification by the joint CIA-FBI human source in January 2001, the assets identification of Khallad in the photo was reported to CIA headquarters. However, the joint inquiry found no information showing that the FBI representative on the scene who also worked with that source, was told about the identification or that the information was provided to FBI headquarters. To the contrary, contemporary documents over the next month strongly suggest that the FBI did not know of this development. It was not until August 30th, 2001, that CIA headquarters transmitted to the FBI a memorandum stating, "We wish to advise you that during a previously scheduled meeting with our joint sources, Khallad was identified in a surveillance photo."